What you're trying to do, don't do that. It doesn't fall. I've really done this hundreds of times. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Glories to Sri Prabhupada. I cannot see what's on the board. 5, 6, 4. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th Canto, Chapter 6, entitled The Activities of Lord Rishabdev, text number 4. Nijam dadati kamasya.
Nijam dadati kamasya.
Chidram tamanu yenraya.
Chidram tamanu yenraya.
Yogina krita maitrasya.
Yogina krita maitrasya.
Pajur jayeva pumsali.
Pajur jayeva pumsali.
Nityam dadati kamasya.
Nityam dadati kamasya.
Chidram tamanu yeraya.
Chidram tamanu yeraya.
Yogina krita maitrasya.
Yogina krita maitrasya.
Pajur jayeva pumsali.
Pajur jayeva pumsali.
Nityam dadati kamasya.
Nityam dadati kamasya.
Chudram tamanu yeraya.
Chidram tamanu yeraya.
Yogina krita maitrasya. Patyurjayeva pumschale.
Patyurjayeva pumschale. Nityam dadati kamasya. Chidram tamanuyeraya. Yogina krita maitrasya. Patyurjayeva pumschale.
Nityam dadati kamasya.
Nityam dadati kamasya.
Chidram tamanuyeraya.
Chidram tamanuyeraya.
Yogina krita maitrasya.
Yogina krita maitrasya.
Pratyujayeva pumschali.
Patyurjayeva pumschale.
Nityam dadati kamasya.
Nityam dadati kamasya.
Chidram tamanuyeraya.
Chidram tamanuyeraya.
Yogina krita maitrasya.
Yogina krita maitrasya.
Pratyujayeva pumschali.
Patyurjayeva pumschale.
Ladies,
Nityam dadati kamasya.
Nityam dadati kamasya.
Chidram tamanuyeraya.
Chidram tamanuyeraya.
Yogina krita maitrasya.
Yogina krita maitrasya.
Patyurjayeva pumschali.
Patyurjayeva pumschale.
Nityam dadati kamasya.
Nityam dadati kamasya.
Chidram tamanuyeraya.
Chidram tamanuyeraya.
Yogina krita maitrasya.
Yogina krita maitrasya.
Patyurjayeva pumschali.
Patyurjayeva pumschale.
Nityam,
Nityam.
always. Dadati, gives. Kamasya, of lust. Chidram, facility. Tam, that. Lust. Anu, following. Ye, those. Aryaha, enemies. Yoginaha, of the yogis, or persons trying to advance in spiritual life. Kritamaitrasya, having put faith in the mind. Patyu, of the husband. Jaiva, like the wife. Pumschali, who is unchaste and easily carried away by other men. Translation. An unchaste woman is very easily carried away by paramours, and it sometimes happens that her husband is violently killed by her paramours. If the yogi gives his mind a chance and does not restrain it, his mind will give facility to enemies like lust, anger, and greed, and and they will doubtlessly kill the yogi. Purport. In this verse, the word pumschali refers to a woman who is easily carried away by man. Such a woman is never to be trusted. Unfortunately, in the present age, women are never controlled. According to the directions of the Shastras, women are never to be given freedom. When a child, a woman must be strictly controlled by her father. When she's young, she must be strictly controlled by her husband. And when she's old, she must be controlled by her elderly sons. If she's given independence and allowed to mingle unrestrictedly with men, she will be spoiled. A spoiled woman being manipulated by paramours might even kill her husband. The example is given here because a yogi desires to get free from material conditions, must always keep his mind under control. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that in the morning our first business should be to beat the mind with shoes 100 times, and before going to bed to beat the mind 100 times with a broomstick. In this way, one's mind can be kept under control. An uncontrolled mind and an unchaste wife are the same. An unchaste wife can kill her husband at any time, and an uncontrolled mind, followed by lust, anger, greed, madness, envy, illusion, can certainly kill the yogi. When the yogi is controlled by the mind, he falls down into the material condition. One should be very careful of the mind, just as a husband should be careful of an unchaste wife. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyanandana Salakya Shakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Sigaro Si Yutapada Kamalam Si Gurun Vaisnavamscha Si Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sivisakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandha Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radhamanta Samostate Tapta Kamsana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Visabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyacha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaisnavyo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. So, we're really speaking about the mind here and about controlling the mind. And then the mind is compared to an unchaste wife. And an unchaste wife is becoming, is not living with a vision. An unchaste wife is simply responding to the impulses of the senses. And as these impulses of the senses produce temptations, then she will act accordingly. Now, the model of a chaste wife and who is always protected is a model which is part of Vedic culture, and Vedic culture has died, as Srila Prabhupada is explaining. Srila Prabhupada said the Vedic culture, just like an elephant, when the elephant has died, it's still valuable, because of all the bone, skin, whatever. So, in the same way, Vedic culture, although it's no longer prevalent, still remnants of it are valuable. But there is no Vedic culture now, and we didn't grow up that way. Then when we try to put modern people into a Vedic model, that will be very difficult. And in fact, that has led to a lot of abuse in our movement. Husbands who demand authority, but they don't have the maturity. In order for a husband to take charge of his wife, he has to be a saint. And when he's a saint, she will follow him. But who is a saint? Where are such husbands? The role of husband is almost compared to that of a spiritual master. So to the wife, he has to be like a spiritual master. Now, not that she should accept him as one, he has to be one. No, most husbands are quite flaky. Sorry to say. They are, sometimes when they say that women want to be equal to man, then I say the men have become equal to women. That is the situation of today. They have no control over the mind and the senses, and whereas it requires that. You see, it's only a foundation to begin with sense control and to control the mind and to not let the senses dictate. But who can do so in this day and age? Therefore, in this day and age, Rupa Goswami stated in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Vaidiki Lokiki Vapuyat Kriya Kriyate Mune Harisevana Kulaiva. He said that whether it is Vedic or whether it is just practical, whatever works, whatever is favorable for the service of the Lord. So that is the situation. So amongst Vaishnavas, oftentimes these days, a marriage is a partnership. Right? Is where husband and wife work together to be Krishna conscious. They're not trying to. And when we go too much in those old roles and try to enforce them, it will not work. But then again, ladies are naturally looking for support. That is also there. And when there's children, then they need more support. That is all there. Anyway, so much about the Grihastha ashram. All I can say is good luck. And, let us carry on and deal with the mind, because we all have one, right? So the mind is the repository of the senses, and yes, the living being is by nature anandamaya vyasa, pleasure-seeking. So because we are by nature pleasure-seeking, that will always be there. And the question is, where is that directed? Right? When that is directed towards the material energy, then we will find so many difficulties. And so then we'll get kanksati and soshati, then we get hankering and lamenting. When we disengage our senses from the material energy for our own enjoyment and only engage the senses for pleasing the senses of Krishna, then we redirect our attachment, our source of enjoyment towards Krishna. And that is Krishna consciousness. Therefore, param drissa nivartate. Therefore, that higher taste is what will make us overcome the material energy. So yeah, that has to be done. The material world is basically not designed to be a happy place. It's not. It's a place. The material body is not meant to be a source of happiness. Although there's enjoyment, but if you add it up, the suffering is much more than the enjoyment. And whatever enjoyment you get, it never fulfills the heart. Enjoyment may give us some satisfaction in the moment, but then it's still hungry again. What to do? Yes, it will never end. So, in this way, Bhagavatam is calling for something else. And Lord Rishabdev, this is what we are discussing, Lord Rishabdev, he was instructing his 100 sons, and Lord Rishabdev said, Nayam deho daha bhajam niyaloke kastan kamam arate vipujyam ye tapo divyam putraka yena sapram sujyat yasman brahma sokyam planantam. Which means that this sense gratification is available to hawks and dogs that are vibhujam, stool eaters. And human life is meant for tapo divyam, divine austerity, or austerity for a spiritual purpose. And then one can get transcendental happiness. It is possible. So really, if we think there's something wrong with the world, then actually there's something wrong with us. That is the reality. Yes. Now that's not always easy, because everyone can find something wrong with the world, isn't it? And if we're honest, can find something wrong in the world. But really, there is nothing wrong in the world. Everything is just perfect. That is the totally liberated stage of the Uttama Adhikari, who sees there is nothing wrong in this world. The Uttama Adhikari sees like that. Everything is perfect, arranged by Krishna. Can you see like that? Are you sure? It's challenging. It is challenging. But where we are lacking emotionally in Krishna consciousness, then we turn to philosophy. We cannot feel the depth of love for Krishna. When we are hearing the descriptions of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and especially in the Antya Lila, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went through all his incredible symptoms of love of God, and how it drove him almost to madness, transcendental madness. Then these emotions were just so overpowering, so overwhelming. They were like tidal waves, and he was just swept along. So his love of God was not a casual love of God, like, yes, I love Krishna too much. Yes, no, not like that. It was not casual. It was very, very deep, very, very strong and overpowering. So, in Krishna consciousness, therefore, we naturally, when we look at such models, when we look at the model of Lord Chaitanya, when we look at the model of the gopis, when we look at the model of all the pure devotees, then we naturally always fall short. You look at Srila Prabhupada and see what the kind of devotee is. We all feel we're falling short. Right? Everyone is experiencing that we're falling short. But where we fall short, we turn to philosophy and we turn to the scripture. We take shelter. We take shelter. Shelter from our mind, shelter from our senses, because this mind and senses then will give us trouble if we're falling short in Krishna consciousness. Then we're living with these senses and this mind that we cannot trust. See? This mind is dangerous. Watch out for it. Yeah. Don't keep it within a structure. Don't give the mind the free rein. That's why we have regulated sadhana, so that the mind is within a structure. Because if we give mind the free rein, yes, then mind will naturally drift away and take us away. That is the situation. So, in this way, one must be careful. It says here, if the yogi gives his mind a chance and does not restrain it, his mind will give facility to enemies like lust, anger, greed, and so on. Yes, and they'll doubtlessly kill the yogi. That means end spiritual life. When yogi is killed, you become an ordinary person. Yogi means trying for spiritual life. So we see it happening in our movement. We see it happening around us. It's like we see devotees losing the fire, we see devotees drifting away. Some because they're hankering, others because they're lamenting. Because they want to control. They want to control destiny because they are here in the material world dreaming about a beautiful life. Recently, I was spending time with a disciple who was in a very advanced stage of cancer, and it was really, we knew it was the last meeting that we would have before she would leave the world. Right? So I spent like some time in the hospital with her. And then a few weeks later she died. And yeah. So what am I supposed to say, you know? I mean, what do you say in some last meeting like that? Well, you can make your notes, you know. Think of Krishna. Don't forget, remember Krishna. I could have said that, but I thought like, yeah. I said, so what I told her is, I said, you know, everyone from their childhood on has many dreams in life. Said now, stop dreaming. Forget your dreams. Now look at what you got. Look at all the blessings you got. And yeah, then she starts, okay, she just went down that kind of train of thought, thinking about the blessings that she got. And then she said, well, actually the best time of my life were the 3 years that I was in the Sankirtan van. I said, well, it was a short life. She was only 37. But not a bad life, huh? If the best time of your life was the part where in the Sankirtan van, then, you're not doing too bad. Could say that was a good life. Yeah. But who can let their dreams go? Their hopes for the material world. Yeah. Oh, because, although we see that there is a lot of suffering in the world, the mind says, yeah, but you never know. You see, you never know. No, really, it might just work out. It could. Why not? And be positive thinking. Think positive, and it will come. It will come. Yes. Believe in it. But all this is the illusory energy at work. It's Maya who is cooking up some kitchen. Yes. What to do? No, we cannot just fall for this trap. It is still the material world. You remember the demigods, they all have their different animal that they are riding on. And Ganga Devi, she's riding on a crocodile, right? So why is Ganga Devi riding on a crocodile? I mean, it's kind of, there you see the deity of Ganga sitting on a crocodile. Why on a crocodile? Because Ganga comes from the spiritual world into the material world. So it is the material energy that is that crocodile. Now, a crocodile, you can have a baby crocodile and you can give it a bottle with milk. You can nurse that little crocky. You can nurse your little crocky until crocky grows big and fat. Yeah? And but don't think that a croc has any love for its mother. A croc is a treacherous creature. Right? One day it will grab your leg or something. That's a croc. Don't trust no croc. Yes, that's the nature. So the material, so Maya is treacherous. The material energy is treacherous, cannot be trusted. Cannot be trusted. Yeah, I have my story. Well, we went on an excursion to Scandinavia with a bus. And we're driving to Scandinavia in the bus, and the organizer decided to put on some videos for us. So, and since we were going to the north, we got videos of penguins and polar bears and all that, and we're looking at all this. Then there is a situation, it got interesting. It was about emperor penguins. Emperor penguins are 1.5 meters tall. They're big, yes, and powerful. So then you see how the eggs are there, and it shows that husband and wife always sit on these eggs, Then they take turns, yes. Then comes the time that the dark polar night begins, the winter. At that time, the ladies go to the south to an island. And it's the men that sit on those eggs at -70 in the winter. In the polar winter. And they sit on these eggs, yes. Then, as the end of winter approaches, right, and the first rays of sun begin to finally appear in the sky after 6 months of darkness, those men, they also go to the south, to the islands, to join their wives. And the eggs remain alone on the ice. The next thing is the sun begins to warm up those eggs, and then those eggs, they crack, and just within moments, hundreds of eggs, they crack, and many little penguins come out, and they step onto the ice with their big flat feet. And oh yes, they notice, they smell the water. They notice that the ice is sloping towards the ocean. Oh yes, and these feet, within minutes, with seconds, they realize they can ski, and they're good. They're skiing down the slope, come straight down, and then as they get to the edge, they fly out in the sky, hundreds of them at the same time, about to dive in the water, and then just this huge killer whale came out and swallowed all my penguins. Yeah. I'm still suffering from this. I'm sorry, now I did it to you as well. Now we're sharing the burden of the penguins that got swallowed. It's been burdening my mind for years. My penguins, at the peak of their happiness, they were so happy. They were so happy. They were playing. It was all really, it was beautiful. The sun was shining. They were skiing. And then they were flying. So much fun. About to swim, ready for the dive. Then this flaming killer whale, just like dunks up out of the water at night. Yeah. So, yes, this is the material energy. Janma mritya jara vyadi, birth, death, old age, and disease. Young man. Here's your chart: birth, death, old age, disease. Now, tick the boxes. Birth, you already had it, ticked. Disease, not fully ticked, a little bit. Yeah, little. Maybe more coming. Old age, wait a while. Yeah, and death, you already had, but you forgot. Tick the boxes. Yes, so I forgot the name. Okay, I have to read it. It's a very long name. But it's easy going to take it. So the deities are just suddenly appearing in the middle of all that, in the middle of this material world. And everyone's got a situation. Everyone's got a story. Yeah? Everyone. It's like in my service, I deal with a lot of people on a personal level. And then they tell me their story. And this one has a hole in his heart, and that one has a hole in his brain, and another one has a hole in his pocket. And it's like, really, there is so much. If you dig a little deeper, you find some suffering there. Yeah. So let's not go there. Just don't go there. It's all. But how can you not go there? By Krishna consciousness. Well, Krishna consciousness doesn't work. It doesn't work. Because it doesn't fix my material problems. don't ask for the material problems to be fixed. No, but that's not practical, because how can I live when my material problems are not fixed? Right? They need to be fixed before I can do anything else. No, just leave them as they are. Just leave it, broken as it is, and just turn to Krishna. And then, in the end, do something material to survive. Like that. Invest in Krishna. Invest our faith in Krishna. That is all. All the problems come from when we don't invest in Krishna. But invest with faith. Happiness comes from Krishna consciousness. Radha Sabda Visvaskaya Sudrida Nischaya Krishna Bhakti Koya Sarva Karma Kritahaya. Yeah. You know, Srila Gorkasardas Babaji Maharaj, he was, as he was aging, he was facing blindness. So that was quite a problem. I mean, who wants to go blind? That's not something I would aspire for. It's just like, oh, give me a break. You know, Krishna, if I don't have to have that, that would be certainly a problem. So he was going blind, but he didn't bother too much. Then one day he was sitting outside, and a cobra just passed right at like centimeters in front of him, just like that. But just went past. He didn't see it. He didn't see it. But there was one lady nearby who saw it, and he said, oh, snake! Babaji almost died. Babaji almost died. Oh, he almost died. Babaji didn't notice anything, and he was just saying, you know, like, what's she talking about, you know? And peacefully chanting Hare Krishna. I mean, what? You almost died. Yeah? Just like, you know. So it is a fact that in the mode of passion, we become so excited about everything that happens and about everything that doesn't happen. And in the mode of goodness, we become less excited about it. It is the mode of passion that causes the problem. It's not the problem that's the problem. It is the mode of passion that is the problem. And ignorance, of course. Right? But it's the lower modes that's the problem. Because when there's a problem and there's the mode of goodness, oh well, we deal with it. You know. Well, let's begin. Well, we're all still alive. You know, we didn't die yet. Anybody hungry? Well, breakfast is coming. There's some prasadam in case you are hungry. It's not so bad, you know, life is still going on. And of course, so we have to have this understanding that somehow or other, karma is there, but Krishna is also there. We heard from the Nectar of Devotion how karma works. There is the aparabdha karma, aparabdha param papam kutam phalam, kutam bijam phalam mukam, kramaneva praliyeta Vishnu bhakti ratatmanam. It's from the Vishnu Purana. And it's explaining how there's this aparabdha karma, this store in the heart of unmanifest karmic reactions. And they're all stored in the heart, and then later, and that produces a certain inclination. So we are inclined to the material energy because we have sinful reactions stored in our heart. And as we're getting purified, then these sinful reactions will also go. As simple as that. Yes. So Krishna consciousness will purify the heart. Krishna conscious, a regular practice in Krishna conscious. We may say, no, but I am not Krishna conscious. I'm not feeling it. That's okay. Who said you had to feel it? No. I have to feel it. If I don't feel it, I can't do it. No, you can. You don't have to feel anything. All you have to do is just move your lips. Move your lips. Chant. Just chant. Yes. Very nice. That's zero noise. Yes, so we have to. All we have to do is devotional service. Can't chant. Okay, chant minimum 16 rounds. The absolute minimum. Just stop at 16 if you can't do any more. Not 1 mantra extra. 16. Yeah, 16 will do, right? And then do service. Do lots of service. Something that you can do, right? Whatever it is, putzen, yeah, yes, or or counting money. Some people, they're really good at counting money. They're just like they are, I know. So you can do it for Krishna. Count money for Krishna. You like counting money? You're not sure. Little bit. Money. Yeah. Anyway, so it's the transcendental position, and the transcendental position is not cheap. And you say, oh, this is too difficult. How can I do this? No. That's our Kali Yuga conditioning. Everything is too difficult. Oh, getting out of bed is too difficult. Oh, brushing my teeth is too difficult. Oh, taking a shower is too difficult. Oh, putting on my clothes is not difficult. Oh, eating is so difficult. And not eating is also difficult. Everything is all difficult. What's your name? Diffie. And your last name? Colt. Yeah, what to do? Hi, Diffie. How are you? Diffie, don't worry. It's okay. It's not so bad. You see, it's not so bad. It's just in the mind. It's because of the lamentation. Because we became addicted to lamentation. We just have to do it. And lament about everything. Why is the floor so hard? Why is the wall not comfortable at all? Why is Germany like this? Why is, why are they cooking like this? My bed, it's like, someone snores. There's always, not to mention any names. But whatever it may be, lamentation. So this lamentation, we have to conquer it. This is our problem. The problems are not the problem, the lamentation is the problem. We just take all. There's a problem, okay, make the best of it. And then in the end, it's not so bad. You can see the people who stay cool and just deal with the problem, they face it and they get through it. Right? And they come out okay. That's the Krishna conscious position. Just take it. Don't blow it up in the mind. Right? No need to dwell on the problem. Deal with the problem. How to deal with this? Okay. Think about it a little bit. Finished. Done. Solution. Okay. Well, just take a decision. This is the best we can do under the circumstances. Leave it like that. But if you start dwelling over the problem, So this is the nature of the mind. When we just go over and over a problem, it just grows in our mind. It just grows in our mind. So therefore, we don't do it, and it's not so easy. The mind wants to do it. Yeah. Oh yes, the mind's ready. Let's do it. Switch off. Just go do something. So, get busy in devotional service. And then, and then after a while you get attached to it. That's my service. Then get attached to service. It's interesting. Because it is our nature to get attached. The nature is to get attached to anything. Well, after a while, you get attached to it. You have people, they complain about a certain place. There's an Italian story. Once upon a time, there was the people of a village. They always came to the mayor to complain about all their problems. Yes. So every day the people are coming to the mayor to speak about problems. So the mayor is saying, look, this is getting too much, this is getting too much. So what we're going to do, you all want to bring your problems? Okay, you can bring them next Sunday. Yeah? We have a big, you can all bring them to the town hall and we put an exhibition. Well, everyone did it, and boy, it was pretty good exhibition. Everyone's problem on display. Yes, and the people are looking, whoa, look at that one. Whoa, going around, saying, whoa, look. And then, everyone enjoyed themselves very much that day, and then at the end of the assembly, the mayor made an announcement. He said, I can see that you all had a wonderful day, and I'm so happy. There's only one thing, He said, now the town hall is full of problems, and I tell you, they can't stay here. Everyone's got to take one. So I was like, got to take one? Then everyone had another look at all the problems that were exhibited there. And in the end, everyone took his own problem back home. Better a known problem than an unknown problem. That's very interesting. This is the psychology of that story. It really is a good story because it is like that. We lament, and then in the end, we say, no. Okay, you can move now. You can just, no, I cannot go. But you hated this place. You've been complaining for the last 30 years how much you hate this place. You can move now. No, I cannot move. I lived here so long. No. I cannot go. You see, it's so yeah. This hankering and lamenting is the thing. So this is the lamentation part I spoke about. And I gave a solution by not going into the problem. But shortly, think about the program of a reasonable solution, finished. Then, it is what it is. Let it go. Of course, the mind wants but you have the problem and he doesn't have the problem. Then it's you have a big problem and he doesn't have any problem. Oh, poor me, he doesn't have any problem and I have so many problems. Why always me? Why me? Why not him? It's not fair. The mind... Hold on 1 second. In the Bhagavatam, the mind is described as a co-wife. Yeah. Now, a sapatni, a co-wife. But in modern times, co-wives are not so common, at least not in our cultures. So, therefore, we can also compare the mind to a child. Yeah? To a child. Yeah? Small child, not a big one. Small. There's always whining. that one, the baby, yeah. So they got this, and you know how it is with kids, when they whine too much, then you give them something, or you try to distract their mind. So this is what we're doing with our mind. We're giving it what it's harassing us, and then we're giving it something. Okay, have this. Okay, and then again, and again, we're trying to, like a child, that you try to keep quiet. Right? But some people, they spoil their kids. They just put it always in front of the phone, right? Give the kid, as soon as the kid cries, give it a phone, First, immediate, like kid, phone. Yeah, okay. Kid's happy. I've got phone. Yeah. No. So we have to deal with it with intelligence, with the mind. We have to engage the mind in positive activity, not by giving it sense gratification. Whenever the mind cries, give it some sense gratification. Kamavinam kotida pulita duni desastisam jatamayik nakaruna natapatraya, Rupa Swami says. This mind is full of lust and it is pushing us mercilessly. Nakaruna natapatraya. No mercy, and it will force us to go through so many varieties of misery because we want it. The mind wants it. Now, we heard this philosophy before, but in this lecture I'm trying to apply it to our own lives, to ourselves. I'm trying to sort of make it visible to us how we are being controlled like this, how we're doing it. Now we're listening to this mind and give it something. What? Did you ever go on Harinam? I did. And did you ever go to the main shopping street? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And did your eyes see the things in the shop and you thought, hey, that looks good. And you want to buy it. Did that happen? It happened to me. I confess. The mind. Uh-oh. You're getting a garment for you. You didn't offer it to me. Hey, hello. Oh, gosh. It's, yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, devotees from Köln. So this issue of the yogi who has to control the mind is a matter of not giving in to hankering and lamenting. Yeah. Besides living by regulation, the regulative principles, of course, but hankering and lamenting, this is the difficulty. So, since it's 8:45 now, I'll ask for some questions or comments from the learned sages. Oh, learned sage.
There's this, there's a feeling of not being responsible if one doesn't lament or hanker about the problem. That you're just being careless and irresponsible. So it's just thinking how to tell the mind that we should just deal with it before we can carry on with our Krishna consciousness.
A feeling that you're not responsible when you don't deal with the problem. Well, I said you should, when there's a problem and it's significant enough, small problems, you just let them go. Yeah? Oh dear, I have a scratch. Oh no. It's just a scratch. Who cares about a little scratch? Yeah? But if it's a cut, okay, then it gets more serious. Then we may have to put something on it. Right? So we do have to respond to problems and look for solutions, but not lament about it. like, like, I cut my hand, cut, cut, oh my God, it almost fell off by the time, it's like, yeah. So now we have to just take it as it comes, and then oftentimes, it still works out somehow or other, Yeah. So it's the dwelling on the problem that's the issue. It's not that we're not dealing with the problem. We must deal with problems. Small ones we can ignore, but otherwise we must deal with problems with intelligence. Do something the best we can. But for the rest, if you keep on turning it over in your mind, then that's where the meditation begins. Yes, anybody else? Yes, sir.
Maharaj, thank you for the lecture. I have a question regarding dealing with problems. And you said try to be intelligent, but I have to accept at least I am not intelligent. So many times when I'm trying to deal with problems, I've seen I make them more complicated for me. That maybe I dwell too much, but sometimes when I'm trying to figure out by myself, I try to then, do mistakes, and that problem seems to be more bigger.
Okay, well, you said just that you were not intelligent, right? Yes, you may not be intelligent, but you have intelligence, because, every living being has. It's like one of the subtle elements, right, that Krishna has made up our body of. So we have intelligence. So now we have to use it. We may not be intelligent, that's okay. But we have to use our intelligence by engaging our intelligence in hearing from Krishna. And as we hear from Krishna and about Krishna, we get the solutions to the problems. That's where the solutions are found. Bhagavad Gita, that's where you find the solutions. See? So we may not be intelligent. We say, yeah, but look, we have no money. We have no money. Okay, you have no money. That's a problem. So try some different things to make money. I tried, and it didn't work. That doesn't mean that it will not work now. Try again. Try again. So again, problems, yes, you have problems, I have problems. And it's basically, Krishna consciousness means the first rule is simplify life. Material life is about why not? If it looks good, let's have it. It might come in handy. Let's buy it. We don't need it today, but you never know. Maybe one day we need that thing. And then the whole house is just full with things that you never use. Right? But just in case. No, we have one of those things. We do. We do. Where did I put that? I'm sure we have one. But then you can find it, then you buy it again. And then simplify life. That's the first principle. So keep material life as simple as possible. Only for service we are ready to complicate things. As simple as possible, as simple as reasonable. When in Germany you need a health insurance. In India, your family may take care of you. It's like old system. Old system is the family. New system is the health insurance. So some basics are there, and depending on the place and circumstance, the basics are different. But we don't have to expand so much, because everything we have materially will bring complications. Nothing comes alone. Like you want a Mercedes, okay, but then you also get Mercedes type of bills. Drives nice, but bills also. Big bills. You know? So like that, you have to, nothing, therefore keep life simple to begin with. Minimize your needs and then find a way to take care of these needs. And if it really doesn't work, well, then you have to be tolerant. Some problems are meant to stay. Got a lifetime problem. Good luck. Just tolerate it. Jai Hare Krishna. I mean, we're just in the, this life is basically, we are in the waiting room. We're in a waiting lounge, We're waiting to catch the plane to the spiritual world. We're sitting in the waiting lounge. Now some people, they want to bring a whole sofa set into the waiting lounge. Others sit on the plastic chairs. It's not very comfortable, plastic chairs, but anyway, we're not going to stay here. We're just here for a while. We're just in a transit lounge. So why worry so much about the transit lounge? It's uncomfortable, it's smelly, it's hot. That's what a transit lounge is like. Shall I tell you more about it? I know all about them. Been there, done that. Anybody else?
Okay. Maharaj, how can I make stronger so that I don't give up, don't give in to the urges of the mind?
By getting busy in devotional service. You see, there's no time for the mind, no time to get mental. Someone's service. That's our solution, We cannot chant all day, we're not Haridas Thakur, because we don't have love for Krishna. So chant 16 rounds is already a struggle for us. And if you can chant a little more, that's nice. So then let's do service. And if you have to work, okay, work, and if but then also do service. Because that will engage the mind. That will make us selfless. How to become selfless? By service. Instead of being self-centered. Self-centered means me and my life, me and my wife. Self-centered. Service, devotional service, lots of it. Sudama, your turn.
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj, for bringing. You are mentioning about the elephant which is dead, from Prabhupada's reference. How to bring it back to life?
No, okay, it's not our movement. We are not interested in bringing Vedic culture to life. That's not our job. We use elements of Vedic culture, but we're not going to try and bring Vedic culture back to life. Just elements of it, as much as is feasible. I mean, if we start to go Vedic, the toilet has to be outside. Cannot be in the house. Very sorry. This whole house, a house, when there's a toilet inside, it's contaminated. Cannot live in such a house anymore. In Germany, that's going to be a complication. Yeah.
Public toilets.
Huh?
Public toilets.
We have to make public toilets, and all the Germans have to go to public toilets. You think they will do that? I wouldn't do it. Some smelly public toilet. No way. I want my own private bathrooms with my nice cushy toilet cover. Yes.
My question is connected with the question of Sudama Prabhuji that I heard that Prabhupada was saying that we should also try to establish Varnashrama Dharma. It means also not the Vedic culture?
Yeah, as a support structure. So, to an extent, not that there's no Vedic culture, to an extent, Vedic culture will be there, but it's secondary. Our first and foremost thing is to chant Hare Krishna, the Sankirtan movement. Prabhupada also explains that the Varna Ashram culture, the Vedic culture, is a culture which is full of rules and regulations, where everything, he says it's a very refined culture, and it's like a goldsmith is trying to make a fine ornament with very fine, detailed movements. And so the Sankirtan movement is unlike the process of the goldsmith who works with a little hammer. The Sankirtan movement is like the process of working with a sledgehammer, a big one, in one blow, everything done. So the essence is Sankirtan, and Varna Ashram is only a support structure, because we have to do something material. So we are not the international society for reviving Varna Ashram. When Prabhupada says implement Varna Ashram, it doesn't mean that Varna Ashram is in the forefront. Varna Ashram is just a support structure. Because you gotta live in this world. Okay, so Varna Ashram is better than just a mundane lifestyle. But it's not our principal goal. Our principal goal is devotional service and to chant Hare Krishna. And we see in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Naham vipranatsanara patir napi vaishana sudra naham varnans agriya patir no vanasta yatir va. I am not anything within the whole Varna Ashram. Gopi Bhartapada Kamala Yor Dasana Dasana Das. I'm just the servant of the servant and the servant of the gopis. So, when you become transcendental, Varna Ashram is like crutches. You know, when you have a problem with your leg, you cannot walk, you need the crutches. So at that time we need Varna Ashram. But when we become healed, when our love for Krishna awakens, then we don't need. Now it's helpful. That's why we say choose an ashram. But we are more serious about, in the practical matter, we see that we are more serious about ashram than about Varna. Because Vaishnav, you cannot designate someone very rigidly by caste. Say he's a Sudra, because he's a Vaishnava. So, are we going to call Vaishnavas Sudras? Sudra Vaishnava. You know, Vaishya Vaishnava, Kshatriya Vaishnava, and Brahmin Vaishnava. Yes. No, this is, you know what that has done to India when the caste system was misused. So much misery in India from the abuse of the caste system, okay? And so on. So it's with Vaishnavas, we respect all the Vaishnavas. They're serving Krishna. So we must be a little careful with these Varnas. It's a sensitive thing, because there is the transcendental side of the Vaishnava and the designation according to caste. With the ashrams, yes, that must be clear. Right? Choose an ashram and don't change. And some ashrams you're allowed to change, but not too quick. Not like in the morning you got married and in the afternoon you're vanaprastha. And then say, no, I'm a brahmachari again now. No. So the ashrams, that is clear cut. Yes. But the varnas is a sensitive matter. That has to be applied with intelligence.
So just Maharaj, for confirming my understanding, Sankirtan movement is so powerful that brings everything goodness, so that we don't have to really take support of Varnashram system.
Yeah, it is possible, even if you don't take shelter of varnashrams, it's just by Sankirtan to attain attachment to Krishna.
So ladies not marrying is not a problem.
When they are single, you mean?
Yeah.
Or, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. I mean, it's not ideal, but what can you do? It's like, where do you find the responsible husbands these days? I mean, it's like, one lady was saying, I don't want a man, Scandinavian lady. She said, I don't want a man, right? Jayadvaita Maharaj is giving the reply, and she said, so do I have to? And she asked the question, do I have to be married, right? And then Maharaj said, it's not that you don't want a man, but you want a first-class man, right? And then he said, but then you'll have to be a first-class woman. Yeah. That's it. See, it's not that they don't want to be married, but look at all these men, Who wants some half-baked character, who has so many problems? And I mean, we'll never forget the play that, Dara and Mangalananda did. And there she is, ironing, And she says, I thought that he was going to deliver me. And she's unlimited ironing, And he's sitting in front of the TV watching football in his, in his undershirt, this singlets, And he's sitting in that, summer, belly, everything. And he's watching the TV. He says, quiet, I cannot hear the scores, And he wants his coffee, right? And she goes and brings him the coffee, right? Like this, with a face like this. Here's your coffee. He said, don't think that I'm any less Krishna conscious because of this. He says, look, coffee, Krishna black, the milk white, Radharani. And if you stir it, Gauranga. Right? Yeah, I never forget that play. That was absolutely brilliant. That was brilliant. Yeah, who wants such a marriage, Gosh. That's useless. No, we want something better. First class. And everything begins with kindness and generosity. People are so miserly, just want to say it. People are so miserly, about being kind. Give us a break. Give everyone a break. And then things will get a lot better. Okay, last one, and then I'm finished. Yes.
Maharaj, maybe
A little louder.
we have this problem of not very qualified husbands, yes? So maybe something should be done besides, training them spiritually, like in a brahmachari ashram or something, like, or homachari ashram, so-called. So maybe something should be done like materially training them for their grihastha life.
Yeah.
Like some kind of a centralized training in ISKCON.
Some people are trying that. There is something, but it's only a humble attempt, it's beginning. But a beginning has been made. There's some senior grihasthas who have taken up some, I forgot what it's called, but there are some manuals and things. I'm a sannyasi, so I don't look at these things every day. But there is something, and there should be more training and more awareness of what does it mean, What does it mean? What does it mean to get married? What is it? How do you stay married? I mean, there's lots of things one can say, but it begins with kindness and generosity. That's for sure. Try, be kind. It's hard. Some people marry out of love, and some people marry because they need a doormat. Not everyone marries with good intentions. Some people really need that one person to whom they can express all the frustrations of the whole world. And when you put two of such people together, then you get a great combination. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Nice to be with you this morning. Thank you all for coming, and see you again whenever we come through Köln again. I have to carry on and go to Gauradesh today to work on a book. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Dear Vaishnavas, if you are interested for to honor the puja of Kanana Maharaj, we have some books and albums that we are distributing for kind donation. We're gonna be there to serve you.
Okay. Yeah.